All right, joining me now are two congressmen who've had some of the most colorful quotes, to say the very least, on this story so far. Republican Ron Paul of Texas, Democrat Anthony Weiner of New York. My thanks to both of you. I've been trying to figure out what happened last night in Massachusetts, just like both of you have. And I'm wondering whether this really was a repudiation of Democrats and a embracing of Republicans. Ron Paul, I want to ask you first, Congressman. First of all, do you see yourself as a Republican or more as a libertarian? I've never been able to figure you out.
Yes. I think both. I mean, you're allowed to be a conservative Republican. You're allowed to be a liberal Republican.
No, I'm not taking anything.
Libertarian. Libertarian just means you're a constitutionalist.
I'm not taking anything away from you. I'm just thinking that you are in a unique position to try and define for us whether these folks in Massachusetts last night were saying, look, we don't care. We don't like either of you, and we're tired of the same old stuff, and we'll vote you out no matter who you are, or whether they were really saying we don't like Barack Obama, as the Republicans are telling us today that they are. What's your take?
Right. Well, my take is that I'm apolitical, and I think right now that's very popular, the people that say they're independent. I've never thought a whole lot of the political parties, so some of my legislation gets as much support from the Democrats as they do the Republicans. So, no, I think the issue is whether you're right or wrong, and I happen to believe strongly in transparency and privacy, and a lot of liberal Democrats will support me on that, and they will on foreign policy as well.
What are Democrats like Anthony Weiner wrong about that cost them Massachusetts last night? What are the Democrats wrong about right now? What's Obama wrong about?
Well, I don't know whether I'll use the word wrong, but I think where they're missing it is that what the people are upset about is that the government no longer can function because it fails. They're incapable of doing this. They take on too much. It isn't who's going to manage the right way or the wrong way. It's just that it's unmanageable. It's sort of like directing traffic for every single person in the country. It doesn't work. Markets work better than government. Government bureaucrats and politicians tend to be political, and they tend to mess things up, and prices go up. They become inefficient. So the process is wrong. I happen to believe it in the marketplace that they're more capable. I'd like to see people at least consider delivering medical care like we deliver cell phones. Prices go down and qualities go up. But no, when the government does it, the opposite happens.
All right, Anthony Weiner, you heard that. That's an interesting analysis he provided you with, giving you perhaps some information you can use as a Democrat. What's your take?
Well, the only problem with that is if you look at the places that government has entered, we've actually done, in many cases, a better job than the private sector. You ask people whether they like Medicare, 96% of people on it say they like it. It has an overhead and an overhead rate of 1% compared to the private sector, which has an overhead of about 30%. And in terms comes to containing costs, actually we've done a better job on Medicare despite the fact they're all senior citizens. Look, the problems that Democrats have had recently, we've kind of gotten away from the things that we know work and that people like. You know, we've made compromises to get rid of the public option. That would have been competition, more choice, going in the direction that Congressman Paul wants to go into. We jettisoned that on the altar of getting 60 votes from our senators, and we forgot that the American people are pretty smart. They watch these things and they say, what is it exactly that the Democrat health care plan is supposed to be about, if not something like the public option or expanding Medicare? That I think, is the mistake we've made. You know, Congressman Paul is one of the rare, truly consistent guys in Congress, and we all respect him for that. I mean, sometimes, you know, I'm not sure he's in touch with the mothership on some of the things he proposes, but he's always consistent. And but in this case, he just happens to have it wrong.
Go ahead, Congressman Paul.
Okay,
your turn.
On the Medicare, yes, some people are satisfied with Medicare, but what he failed to say is it's bankrupt. The end stages are there, and you just can't whack away like they proposed, taking away some of the Medicare benefits. Take the housing. You can say public housing is great. Everybody gets a wonderful house. We make interest rates low. We give them no down payments. Everybody's happy until they lose their house, and we bail out Wall Street.
So you don't want government.
So it's a failed system.
Congressman Paul, you don't want government in anything?
Yeah, I do. I want them to play an important role. They should be enforcing contracts. They should, you know, we're in charge at the federal level on bankruptcy, for instance.
But not in healthcare.
We don't allow people to go bankrupt. We bail them out by the people. We bail them out from the money from the people who were successful. So we have everything turned upside down.
That's a good point, sir. Anyway, Anthony Weiner, how do you argue with the fact that maybe we try and manage too much, which is his principal point?
Well, perhaps that's right, but I got to tell you, you know, the schizophrenia of my Republican friends when it comes to Medicare, they believe it's terrible that you have government-run health care, except for this health care plan, which covers about 45% of the American population. They don't like health care, but when you try to make to get some waste out of Medicare, they scream. Look, the fact of the matter is you can't just simply say government's good or bad. There are some things we do well, some things we don't do as well. But health care is a case that we know the free market is never going to be the way you solve every problem, because they're never going to cover sick people. We're
going to have to leave it there, gentlemen. Congressman Ron Paul, Congressman Anthony Weiner. You guys are great.
Until 65, they did.
Thank you both. There you go. That's Ron Paul. Getting that last shot in. We appreciate it. Good for both of you.